Hello, this is First Fire Non-Assault Move. Well, I've been thinking of war games for future channel content, and although I do have a number of them that I could introduce that I already own, well, Matrix had a sale recently, so I went about and I made some purchases. I took advantage of that sale. Thank you very much, Matrix. Love you guys. And one of those games is this right here, Flashpoint Campaigns Red Storm, the Player's Edition. Also, Dawn to the Donets and Lost Battles, the War in the East DLC packs. And finally, the an older game. It's called Across the Neper and its expansion, The Disaster on the Donets. It's an older game, but it has a very interesting and sophisticated game flow mechanic that I'm really excited to explore and potentially bring to the channel. But right now I figured we'd introduce first Flashpoint Campaigns. It also has a very interesting game mechanic, a WeGo system, which if you play Combat Mission you'd be very familiar with. And this game takes it to the next level. And what I mean by that is after you execute your first commands, there is a 15 to 17 minute game time gap before you can execute your next orders. So a lot can happen between the first orders you execute and then your following orders. So what that does is it really challenges your decision making and your second and third order of effects considerations of your orders, and to predict what your enemy might do, maybe an hour or two game time down the road. And also it throws in a lot of fog of war, command and control constraints, and there are options to make it as realistic as possible or make it relatively easy, because overall the game is at its roots, I wouldn't say simplistic, but it's easy to get into. But obviously that's just learning the mechanics of the game. You have to apply all of that uh, in your planning and your tactics, and that's where it can get really sophisticated, challenging, and difficult. So this is a command-oriented game. As a commander, you will study the mission briefing, evaluate the tactical situation, plan your goals in light of the victory conditions, and issue the orders necessary to achieve them. I think that really sums up the spirit of the game. It's command-oriented. So with the WeGo system, you're going to give your orders, and there's a number of, I would call them maybe standard operating procedures or battle drills that each unit has available to them. So you can get not too far in the weeds, but some your basic overarching tactical maneuvers that you can give to your units. So let's get into it. This is the main menu. So I've played the tutorial scenario a few times. By nature, I'm not one to read through the rules page 1 to wherever it ends in some of these manuals. Games that I play, a couple hundred pages. So I went through the tutorial manual and just stepped through it with the tutorial. And it's a fun little scenario. It's a mishmash of units. And I'll qualify that I am not a modern warfare wargamer or reader, amateur scholar. I was on track to, wanted to teach military history at one point, and it was all about World War II, and the Eastern Front would be my concentration. So I'm aware of a lot of the weapon systems since World War II, but I have only a general understanding of their capabilities. So yeah, I know a little bit about Modern Warfare, but at the end of the day, you're arraying your forces, you're maneuvering your forces to get a tactical advantage over the enemy, and that's pretty much the bottom line to it. So, enough talking. So let's look at the tutorial scenario, because it's a great introduction to the game. So it's all basic stuff you're familiar with, getting into these war games, options to play, single player, head-to-head campaigns and all that. This will be a single player scenario. We'll scroll down and find tutorial scenario, proceed. And I just left everything default because the tutorial manual said do so. And this is just an introduction. We're not really looking to get a stunning victory and all that, but yeah, just to get a feel for the game and see what you think. Cause see what you think for this game as an entry to the channel, because there are a million scenarios and campaigns available to play uh, with this game. So it has definitely some longevity and replayability, and it's a lot of fun. It is a heck of a lot of fun. It's a brilliant game, and I absolutely adore the map because it reminds me so much of a board game map, which I'm so fond of. I grew up on, and I'm a sucker for board game like PC games that have the spirit of a board game. I love it. So a lot of information on this screen, and I'm gonna jump around, and this is not really meant for tutorial, just like an introduction. So you get your scenario description and then your briefing. And this is important because uh, you're not going to be able to fine tune and min max and uh, micromanage your forces because it is a command driven game, very much like real life. Uh, so have a plan, and most of your plan, most of what's going to happen is going to be based on your initial planning, or at least it's going to be centered around that. You're not going to have that greater uh, luxury of shifting gears midway through. But you still can adapt to the changing situations on the battlefield. But there's going to be command and control delays, and it's not going to be instantaneously. Here's the roster. This is really nice. Uh, we have a little battle group here, a combined arms task force, the headquarters, and again, I know the Challenger 1, this is Challenger 1, replaced later with the Challenger 2. You can click on that and get some details, just some basic statistics and um, capabilities that the inner working of the game will take into account. It's got the 120 millimeter and a very decent range. 6,000 meters, I mean, that's really reaching out and touching somebody. But as I was playing through, I had the Challenger 1 standing off at about 2,500 meters to 2,800 meters and not getting very many kills. And we're going against T-80s, and I'm not sure if the 120 at that range can defeat the frontal armor or the armor in general of the T-80 on a consistent basis. So we're firing a lot of rounds downrange and not getting many kills. So this time around, I'm going to get them a little closer to the kill zone and the engagement area, because this is a meeting engagement, but we're going to turn it into, we're going to get to the objectives first and then have an active defense and let the Soviets move into the engagement area and defeat them in detail. At least that's the plan. So this you can take into account because you can drop smoke and you'll be able to see the enemy while the enemy is blinded, knowing what the opponent you're facing. Do they have that capability as well? So dropping smoke might not be an option. But in this case, if the T-80s, I'm not sure if they have thermal imaging. I imagine they do. But yeah, nice little breakdown of the units. How can I? There we go. Fox, little recon unit. It's pretty cute. I like the look of it. 30 millimeter Raiden gun. It's going to probably be able to defeat BMPs and the run-of-the-mill armored personnel carriers of Warsaw Pact forces. And yeah, there's a nice little mix of forces in here. Another little recce unit, Scorpion. That's kind of cute too. Fire some heat. So again, good at taking out light vehicles. And yeah, even though I love tanks, I do love missiles. Sending missiles downrange. So this will fire swing fire, anti-tank guided missile. So there's a nice mixture of forces at our disposal, and then our mechanized infantry. They have the warrior, APC, one subunit, and oh, these are the subunits actually, and a mechanized rifle. Here, breakdown. That's pretty good. So you can look at your force roster, and then everybody loves to look at statistics, how well your units did, how many of the enemy you schwacked, took out. So that's gonna fill up, hopefully, a whole bunch of destroyed units that we can report on our end. And the staff summary, basically situation report as the battle unfolds. You can see here losses and such, but you'll also find that here in your force roster when I think these are the icons show up as destroyed, like flaming wrecks. Yeah, so that's the Tactical Operations Center screen where you're going to get a lot of your information. And again, here you go, breakdown of the scenario. And here's the map. It's really nice. It's very clean, elegant map. Very easy on the eyes, very easy to digest and understand. You get a common operating picture here of the terrain, avenues of approach, cover, concealment, key terrain, all the good stuff. Got a little TRP here, and there's some hindrances here, some obstacles, and I think there's a minefield somewhere around here. Soviets have to go through. There's a minefield. I think there's a minefield there. Yeah, so little icons detailing where they are on the map. But yeah, I just like it's so easy on the eyes. It's like a nice, clean game board map, as are the icons. So yeah, nice, elegant looking interface here that we're going to interact with. All right, so do you have orders? It's pretty simple. You right click, and you have your basic movements. And even though there's only a few here, there's a lot under the hood for each of these moves. Hasty, as you can imagine, you're moving out, not giving much care for finding cover and uh, moving at you want to get there as fast as you can, not worrying about taking enemy fire and not, uh, bounding, uh, bounding Overwatch, those kind of moves. And deliberate, that is what you'd expect. Moving at a slower pace, looking for the enemy, scanning for the enemy, taking advantage of terrain, and being mindful of exposing yourself. An assault, and that's a specific situation when you're adjacent to a hex, you want to move into built-up areas and defeat the enemy and take victory locations. Resupply, hold, screen, all those good things. So you can start off giving it a hold or a screen, and then you'll just remain in place. But once we'll conduct a hasty move with our first recce, and you get 3 waypoints. And you can click a waypoint as far. I could click a waypoint over here, and that'd be fine. And then the unit commander here, the PL, well, an LT with a map, that's very, very dangerous. So you probably want to give some guidance, fine tune the route, and you have your 3 waypoints to do that. So with that in mind, I've played this a few times, so I kind of know where I want to go. There's a hill right here. It's a good spot to post up. So there's one waypoint, another waypoint. So this will more than likely uh, give some instructions that we want our recce unit to use the road system, and then go off high-speed avenues of approach and get up to this hill. Then you click back on the unit and hold, which is essentially take up positions, dig in, get some cover and concealment, and be prepared to defend in place. And that's that. And that's the route the recce unit's going to take. So you just go about doing that for each of your units. And there's an easier way. You have your order of a battle. Again, very clean interface, very easy to get at information and uh, order your troops, which I think is invaluable. It cannot be understated in a game. And this is very, very accessible, beautifully done, a lot of information easily reached. So here's your order of a battle. So that's our recce, and then we can just click on our first AT. That's the Striker T1 with the ATGMs. Like I said, I kind of know what the Soviets going to do. So this is a little bit of unrealism because you can do the good old line of sight. It's okay when you're already there and you can see the spot where you're at and what you can see for your unit for planning purposes. But you can click on a hex, for instance, let's say right here. Then I think it's shift click, and then you can see your line of sight from that hex. In real life, if I see a hill in the distance, I can't predict what I'm going to be able to see if I'm not on that hill. If I'm back here, how the hell do I know what I can see from this hill unless I get there? But it's a game mechanic, so it's a tool, so use it to your advantage. So if we moved here with our striker, we can see these shaded in hexes. And I didn't read this in the tutorial manual, but I'm guessing these numbers and the hexes is probably the what's the word? Quality, the sighting quality, and how much obstruction is in the way. Even though you could see here, uh, there's obviously abstracted in the game. You're not going to detail every little fold in the ground and every little building, every little crevice. So here it looks really clear, 89%, but once you get into the woods, you can see into the woods, but only, like, we'll just say percentage, only 38% with clarity can I see into these woods. So that's obviously going to affect identifying what units move into those hexes, and you're going to affect our accuracy firing at units in those hexes, and so forth. And probably as well, if they're hard to see, it's more than likely there's cover there, so they're going to be able to resist and defend better in these hexes. Kind of logical. So with that in mind, click off of that. So let's post up our first AT there, and you don't even have to go fishing around to find where the unit is that you selected in your order of battle. But it's pretty easy to do so because the selected unit is highlighted with that yellow bracket. You can just right click there. Isn't that beautiful? Very easily accessible. So we're going to do, we'll go hasty. We want to get there before the enemy. So it's back there. Go bam. Use the roads. And we'll go there. We'll just click there and we're going to hold. All right. And we have a mechanized mortar unit. And we are going to go hasty and bam, bam, and that's like a level 1 hill. This is a level 2 hill. We'll get behind this hill, click here, and we'll be on call for fire missions. Pretty cool, pretty simple, but I'm doing this pretty quick. There's a lot of planning, and I've already played through this scenario like 3 or 4 times. Not completing it each time, but each time I go through, you get more familiar with the interface, the commands, and the game mechanics, and how the units interact with each other. Here's our headquarters. Do a hasty. This is a command and control range. We're going to move in with we'll screen. Screening means they'll seek cover if they feel threatened. Command range. I guess you can't see command range with your right click menu. So you come up here, it's selected, and you can do, oh, I think it's this. No, let's show command radius. There you go. What? That doesn't look right because last time I clicked there, command radius was a lot more limited. Huh. I gotta figure that out. Okay. Anyways, we'll move them there anyways, and well, I think everybody's gonna be command and control. That's good. Alright, who else was in there with them? Oh, this is, look at our subunit. What is this? Oh, 81 millimeter mortar section. Okay, that's clicked off. That's a different unit, different hex. We were with our headquarters, right? Yeah, they're sharing a hex. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we did that, and beauty of this is you can give group orders. You just hold Alt and click on the parent unit, which is first armored. It's probably a battalion, because this is, I don't know, it's a company. Because those are three. That's a platoon. So this is probably a company, yeah. So you can Alt and click, and it's going to select. Hey, why don't you do that? Alt, click. There we go. You zoom in. You can see they're all selected now. So you just click there, and we're going to do hasty move. We're not worried about taking fire. Previous games, I set up. We stood off here and engaged the Soviets coming through here, and that was like 2,800 to 3,000 meters. And we weren't getting many kills, so we're going to get a little up close and personal. So we're going to move here. Well, let's see. We're going to go here, here, and then here. Click that. We're going to hold. Now what's really cool is if you go and select the individual units that you just gave orders, you can fine-tune it. So instead of all bunching up here, obviously we don't want that. We're going to spread out a little bit. Go down here, keep our headquarters back a little, and yeah, so that's pretty cool. Nice feature. Infantry, we're going to Alt click. Yeah, that selected them all. We're going to do hasty, and let's beat feet. Boom, boom, and here we go. Boom. We're going to hold, and we definitely want to spread out because we want to get into Nordheim before the enemy. So click there. Again, you don't have to click around. You can just go down the list. Go up there. Go in here. Yeah. Pretty slick. I really like it. I really like it. Can already see that I'm going to be a big fan of this game. All right. So we did first armor, first infantry. We did our recce. We did our AT. We did our mortar. We did our, yeah, and mortar. Anti-aircraft, S. Yeah. These guys are very ineffective. I don't even know the names of the modern aircraft, but basically a Soviet fighter bomber came in twice, made two attack runs, and really wasted some of our units, and we didn't even scratch them. But we're gonna try anyways. We'll put them in a spot. We'll put them up on a hill. Yeah, we'll put them up. Hasty. Bam, bam, bam. We'll hold there. I think that covers everything. So those are your orders. So we look up here. It's 05 in the morning on May 1st. Dawn, hazy fog. That means visuals are 2,000 meters, and that really affects our special thermal imaging. So we're not going to have the advantages as until the fog and the haze lifts, and the sun comes out a little bit. So there's going to be 13 minutes to our next orders. And right now, no time has elapsed, and we have 6 hours remaining. So there's a lot of time. But believe me, once movement movement to contact, right? This kind of early opening stages, arraying our troops into position. But once contact is made, modern weaponry, it's very violent, very abrupt, and things die very quickly. We'll see that. Not sure how long we'll get into this. This is more of an introduction and give you a little taste of the game, and hopefully you'll like it, because I really want to put it up on the channel. Yeah, so let's have at. It's pretty loud. Once the action starts. All right. Here we go. Now, it's on the easiest settings, so we're going to see everything the Soviets do. Otherwise, we'd have no idea what the Soviets are doing. Probably can't hear me. Well, once this ends, I'll reduce the sound effect volume. So this is just a tutorial to let us get an understanding of how the game works. See the Soviets approaching down these high-speed avenues of approaches. We are attempting to get in place to give them a warm welcome as they try to take Nordheim, just as we are. Let's see if I can do that now. Can I do this now? No, I don't have options to go and change the volume, so bear with. We only have 5 minutes left game time. So we go under the hood. The game is taking into account the quality of troops, their readiness, the terrain, the forces are moving over. So basically the units are not. All things are not equal. The units are not moving with the same efficiency. Don't have the same situational awareness. Taking the best route, so there's delays. Fog of war. Not everything is working swimmingly, and it's going to be roadblocks, bunching, all kinds of things that the game is taking into account. Speaking of such, boy, I don't know if I can turn down the volume. No. Go to game menu. Yeah, that's the only way. Doggone it. Let's save it, because that's gonna be. I can't even hear myself think. All right, we saved it. Go to game menu. Yep. Okay, save. Thank you. All right. Options. Sorry, I had to do this on camera. Unit sound effects. Background. All right. So, let's. First time I've saved scenario. All right. Doing this together. Too easy. All right. Loads up really quick. So that was one turn. It is now 13 minutes has passed, and after we, if we do any, want to do any new orders, there's going to definitely be a delay uh, as part of uh, having our units shift gears from their preceding orders. Uh, so if we do that, uh, we'll know that we won't be able to give any other new orders until 14 minutes game time, and 13 minutes have elapsed. And dawn, still foggy and hazy, and we're nowhere near right now able to see the enemy. So this tutorial scenario, there's not much to do. We just get an idea of how our forces are approaching and what the Soviets are doing. Which again, with all the realism settings to max, we'd have no idea what's going on. There'd be a lot of fog of war, and our command and control would be a more realistic, really responsive right now, because this is on beginner mode, newbie mode. So the only thing to do right now is just hit start, and we'll play a couple more turns until we get in some action. That's better. That was really loud. And until I find a solution, unfortunately, oh, here we go. Okay, great. It's even worse. Down to 1,500 meters. So until I get, I purchased a new desktop PC, but it's very loud. It's an incredible PC. Delighted about it. Been like 6 years since my last upgrade, but it's so damn loud that it drowns out the mic in open mic. So I've resorted to a headset to do recordings, but I'm gonna find a better solution, a better headset, better mic, so some better audio quality here. Oh wow! So the fog is lifted. We can now see 6,500 meters. Wonderful. Still have 7 minutes to go. I like that we are definitely going to reach Nordheim before the enemy. And you need to play the game for a little while to understand the flow of the game, capabilities of the units. Just get a feel of it. Get comfortable with the game. I feel I'm getting a little more comfortable with it. Played it an hour or two so far. All right. So, 27 minutes in, no contact, but we have rushed to the objective, and now I think we're going to be in a good spot for when the Soviets finally come within range. Did I not set up here? Oh yeah, we have 3 challengers are going to take this hex here. We have our anti-air back here. So each hex is 500 meters. So I looked earlier, the striker has a 4,000 meter range, so that's 8 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, easily reach this choke point when the Soviets start to move through. But they have by not taking the obvious route, so the AI is fairly competent taking alternate routes, not the obvious one. So we're not always going to have the perfect engagement area set up for the enemy. So that's good. A little bit of a challenge. All right, not much to do. Shortly we're going to have some off-board artillery available to us. We'll show you that. Really nothing more to do, and I don't mind it. There are so many games that I play that so much manual effort and thought each and every minute playing it that I don't mind giving orders and I'm letting my troops handle the commander's intent. You know, mission command. Give my intent to the troops and having adaptive and agile leaders execute that intent. And this is what they're doing. Hopefully. So this is a level 1 hill, and our challengers are now all in position, and our infantry is disembarking from their APCs, and we're getting stuck in town, ready to receive a swarm of Soviet tanks and APCs. Back down to 2000. So weather conditions definitely have an impact on visibility and thus engagement ranges. Look at that, 13 T-80s. Okay, first contact. So visually, nothing staggering about combat resolutions, but you know, it's nice, it's clean, and there's a lot going on under the hood based off all the stats and each weapon platform's capabilities. So these are just, wow, yeah, their recon units just got wasted. I think this is a scripted scenario to make it easy for the player. I don't think it's going to be as easy in other scenarios. AI's on newbie level, probably. However, there's so many Soviets that it's impossible to stop them from assaulting into the town, despite the losses. Although the last scenario, once I'm getting more of the hang of it, I was able to keep them out and inflict some really crushing losses on them. Okay, so again, not much more to do. We do have our off-board artillery at our disposal, and there is a setting. Ooh, where do I see it? F2 brings this up. Staff summary report. I forget where I saw it, but there is a checkbox to allow my fire support coordinator to pick targets of opportunity if I do not do it manually. So we'll probably see some artillery drop, even though we didn't plot it ourselves. I have to find where that is. Still getting used to all the panels and options. Oh, right here. This has to be it, right? Yeah, right here, right in front of us. Allow staff fire support coordinator, control coordinator, fire support coordinator to control fire. Your fires, lethal fires. Okay, so more action coming. So they hit the obstacles. They're going to be held up, and oh yeah, here we have our log report. What's going on? So we didn't plot our mortar to fire, but our fire support coordinator did. And now the Soviets are dropping artillery on us. Very cool. I think we are displacing because there is counter battery fire. So 26 T-80s to our 21. Alright, we'll do one more quick one. Nothing to do. Do we want to drop some artillery? Sure. I'll show you how that is conducted. We can either go here or our order of battle. Just click, right click, barrage, neutralizing fire, and you can hold control and click because you can click all 3 target reference points in 1 hex if you want to do so. So we're going to double up here, 1, 2, and we'll go 3 here. Then click off, and you can say that neutralizing fire on 2615 hex at 0557. So in 3 minutes, the first fire for effect take place. And then 3 more minutes, 06, and then 0603. So when you're plotting manually, you want to take into consideration where you think the enemy is going to be at these times. And over the course of playing this scenario a few times, didn't complete it. I haven't completed it at all. I stopped each time, going back, learning how to do stuff. I definitely missed. I definitely tilled the earth with no enemy formations in the hexes that I had plotted. So, yeah. Okay, so that was one. Let's do another. Do barrage, neutralizing fires. We'll just, there's a 30-minute delay, so let's just heap on the fire here. Boom and boom. Pretty much the same. Time on target is the same. All right. Let's see if we can get some kills with our challengers. Did we get any kills? I was talking about reported kills and claims. What? Come on. First mortar? We killed 2 tanks with the mortars? I don't think so. I think that's inaccurate. It's probably going to be changed. This is what we think right now, and there is fog of war, and this does change. All right. 13 minutes till our next orders. Oh, the Hind is coming in. Bad news for us. Come on! Anti-Spartans with your 2 javelins. Alright. Our artillery's landing. Got a KIA. Nice. And if not outright kills, you can definitely factor it into the game is disruption, degradation of effectiveness when steel rain is hammering down upon your position. It can really muck up your thoughts and your plans and your will to fight. All right, we have our own chopper coming in. So they're getting disrupted and taking some losses. It's interesting that the AI doesn't do the same thing each time. In one run of this scenario, the tanks pretty much circumvented the obstructions we had on this avenue of approach. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, there's counter battery fire factored in, so one of our own batteries is not going to be as effective this round, this block of time, because it is displacing, because it is aware that counter battery firing is on its way. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna lose the challenger. Doggone it. Ouch! Yeah. Attack choppers are bad news. I know I would have a much healthier complement of anti-air supporting my troops on the border battlefield. Hey, we got a kill. We're a little closer. Tank on tank kill. So we're trying to shoot at the chopper. Not much effect. But this is the nuts and bolts of the game. A easy to digest and game to get into, but a lot of tactical depth, a lot of planning considerations, and some good action. And a beautiful map, beautiful icons. Yeah, so I would like to definitely delve into this game, review a ton of scenarios. I got the scenario packs I downloaded off of Matrix from the community, so yeah, there's all kinds of gameplay goodness to get out of this title. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's my first kind of video for introducing a game, and I had my eye on this title for a long time now, and very happy that I finally pulled the trigger, pun intended, and purchased it. And I'd like to play it further and put it up on the channel. So I'll learn more about the game. There's a lot of nuances I probably have not showcased to this game, but overall, this is probably 70-80% of it, what it involves. And I'm sure there's a lot more depth to it and a lot more interesting scenarios. And let's face it, we saw everything the Soviets were doing. Just imagine the stress and tension of not knowing where the Soviets are coming, and that first glimpse of a mass of T-80s barreling down the road, guns blazing, and we hope that the orders we gave 10 minutes ago were going to be able to be adaptable enough and handle that spectacle of Soviet armor bearing down on you. Pretty cool. I'm already really liking this game, and I think I'm going to come to love it. Awesome. You know what? I just had a thought. Way back, it is not supported anymore, and it's not even available for purchase, I don't think. At least off of Slytherin or Matrix store. I think it was called Highway to the Reich, and it was a WeGo system, and it was very, very much like this. And I wonder if the design idea, maybe in the same team, I have to look into it, came up with a modern version of that title, because I really liked it, and I did own it. But you know, over the course of years, there's some games that I've lost track of, put aside, can't find, maybe threw out, I don't know, but maybe didn't port it over digitally. You know, I'm gonna look. Maybe I could find it, but I think it was Highway to the Reich, and it was WeGo, and it was World War II. And boy, oh boy, if they had a World War II title that had this kind of system to it, oh boy, I would be a taker. It would be a great game to have. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this introduction. If you didn't know about this game or haven't played it or had any kind of interest in it, and maybe this gave you a little more insight to what it's about, and I highly encourage you to go out and purchase the game. I don't think it's on sale any longer, but if you can, I know there's so many games to buy. Which ones do you buy? Which ones do you not buy? But to support developers of this type of game, I try to do so because God bless them, that they make these kind of games for uh, us war game nerds, grognards that really enjoy more sophisticated type of war game uh, to be made available to us. So yeah, good stuff. All right, I'll leave it at that, and in the comment section, maybe let me know if you're interested. And who am I kidding? I'm probably going to put up a couple scenarios on the channel. With this little taste, I hope you'll look forward to it. Thank you for watching. This is First Fire Non-Assault Move out.